my hype man on the chat already. Thanks, man. I appreciate that. I'm really excited to be here with you guys and excited to tell you a little bit about my story. I'm coming to you guys live from Birmingham, Alabama. Who has been to Alabama before? Yes, almost no one. That is awesome. I've been to California before. I lived in San Francisco for about 5 years, so I'm familiar with the state that you guys are from, even though I'm from country Alabama. I might not sound exactly like y'all might think I talk, but I had to work on the accent a little bit. I digress. Let me tell you guys a little bit about me. So I originally started in New Orleans, Louisiana. That is where I'm from. I started when I was 17 years old. And when I originally heard about the job, I got a text from my friend's manager, and it said that the starting pay was $18. And I was like, well, there's no way that's real. And like almost deleted it. Right. But then I decided, well, why not check it out? I turned into that, that emoji with like the money sign on it, on the tongue, whatever it is. Like that's what I turned into immediately when I heard about the job. So I'm like going to the interview, and I'm driving to the interview, and I realized two things. I hated salespeople, and I didn't cook. So I didn't know anything about kitchen stuff. So I was pretty sure it wasn't going to be a good job for me. But the first thing that the manager showed me was he cut through a penny with the scissors. And then he showed me the training manual, and he said, all you got to do is read and cut pennies. And I said, okay, I'm not very smart, but I can at least do that. So I was fired up, and I was really excited to work hard. I wanted to make a lot of money, but I was kind of busy at the time. I had football and I had exams. So I had to really use the flexibility to my advantage. I was doing appointments in the morning before exams, in the afternoon after football, and just doing as much as I possibly could. And I got 3 bonus days in my fast start, but in my first 13 days in my fast start, I did 65 appointments and I sold $17,000. So after that, I was like, this is probably a pretty good fit for me. I like this job. I like how my paycheck feels at this point. And so from there, I just pretty much worked full time that summer. I told my dad, I was like, Dad, I'm going to quit the daycare job that I'm working 9 to 5. And he's like, son, why would you do that? You know for sure you're going to make $7.25 an hour working at the daycare. You never know if you're going to make money in sales. And I said, Dad, I just made like $4,000 in my first 13 days on this job. And last summer I worked 9 to 5 and I made $2,000. So can I just try it? So I had to talk him into a little bit. So I got a little bit of resistance, but by the end of the summer, I had sold $62,000 in my first summer. And I started a cool streak where I've always made more in thousands of dollars than my age during the summer. So I made $18,000 my first summer when I was 17 years old. So cool streak that wasn't really ever a goal, but just kind of happened. Now I was, fall and spring, I was back in school. So I was playing a bunch of sports and things like that. So I was selling a little bit, but then that next summer I had the opportunity to become an assistant manager where I learned so much. I got the opportunity to field train people and run interviews and do all these things as an 18-year-old. I was so proud of the fact that I got to have a leadership role. I also got to make dual income off of the office and off of my personal sales. And that summer, because I came back at a higher percentage, I actually sold the same exact amount. I sold $62,000 again my second summer, but because I was at 45% that time, made a lot more money that summer, plus the money off the office, plus the leadership skills. So that summer was amazing. Now, after that, I decided to go off to college to UAB, Alabama at Birmingham. And I got to work with Brian Stevenson. So we got to work hand in hand out here. I was an assistant manager with him during the fall and spring, and I got to learn how to sell around school. Now, I also had a different challenge where I had to learn how to sell in a brand new territory. And this was back in the old days where we would like go meet with people and like cut stuff up with them. I know that seems really old fashioned now, but that's what we used to do back then. So I had to learn to sell in a brand new territory, start from scratch, build my names list up from zero. So I feel really confident in my ability to do that as well, and coaching people to do that. But I didn't sell a ton. I didn't win a scholarship or anything, but I sold $20,000 during that fall and spring combined. But it was in a brand new territory, so I felt really good about that. But after that fall and spring, I had the opportunity to become a branch manager. The company gave me money out of their own pocket to go run my own business as an internship for the summer. So that summer, I moved to Leeds, Alabama, which is exactly what Alabama is when you think about Alabama. There's no 3-story buildings in Leeds, right? So we did $220,000 in business that summer. And we did so well that the company said, hey, why don't you guys just keep your office open? And I was like, yeah, but I still have sophomore, junior, senior year of college. And they were like, well, why not try it? And I said, that sounds crazy. Sign me up. I love it. So not only was I running a business while taking full-time classes in college, but I was also on the women's basketball team. So I got to practice with them, 2 or 3 times a week. And then I was also in the a cappella group where we got to, if you've ever seen the video, you probably heard me mention that we got to compete in the same competition that the movie Pitch Perfect was made after. Super cool. We did not win. I was actually the beatboxer, so we'll save that for another day. I know that Anthony probably is ready for a demo on that. Yeah, I know. Probably later. But so I got to do all of that stuff while in school. So for my sophomore, junior, senior year of college, our office did $1.5 million in business during that time frame. We were top 5 in the nation for 2 out of the 3 years that I was a district manager while doing all of those things while being in school. So I actually just graduated this past May, a couple of months ago, with millions of dollars of sales on my resume, having run a business, having trained people to run interviews, having people run their own businesses from my office. We have a guy named Braden Crow, who was a top 5 new district manager last year, who came from my office, and he started in my 3rd training class ever. So I got all of this amazing experience through my Cutco through college experience. I was even able to buy a home when I was 19 years old in Birmingham, just with money that I saved as a sales rep. So I bought it, and it's right next to campus. So I rent it out to my roommates, and I live for free in a house that they're paying for and building equity for me in. And that's just from the sales, from the money that I made from sales. That was even before I became a manager. So this summer, I really decided, I took a step back and was like, what's next for me? I really want to have someone in my life who can be a leader. So I actually decided to take a step away from running my own office, and I ran the pilot office. So this would be like me running Jay Brad's office for you guys, but our division manager's name is Brian Stevenson. So I wanted somebody who could just teach me, and we set out this summer to do $750,000 in business, and we eclipsed that right at the end of SC2. So I'm really proud of the fact that we hit our goal right when we were planning on doing it. But at the beginning of July, I sat down with Brian and I said, Brian, I've always had a little regret in the back of my head. Like, I've always thought, like, what would it look like if I truly went all out for push? What would that look like? My best push up to that point previously had been $24,000. And in that push, I kind of gave up with the last 4 days left. There were 4 days to go. I kind of thought that I was going to cruise into first, and I pulled up early and I ended up getting second place. So I've always had a little bit of regret, like what would it look like if I truly went all out? So Brian said, all right, let's go for it. So he took some of my management responsibilities from me and let me just go all out in sales. So my mission was basically just to take everything that I had been teaching people as a manager and just implement it all myself. So I normally teach people, hey, prepare 100 names and numbers if you want to sell 10K for push. So I wanted to sell 40, so I prepared 400 plus. I always tell people, hey, make sure you have a goal thermometer that you can share on every single appointment. So I made a goal thermometer. I always tell people, hey, share your goals with friends and family, so that way random things don't pop up during push and they can be invested in your goals as well. So I did that. I always tell them, double bounce into push, sell the week before, so that way you don't have to start bouncing on the trampoline the first week. So I did all of these things, and that really led into my push. So the first week, or actually that call day on the Sunday before push started on Tuesday, I said, this is going to have to be my biggest push ever. So I'm going to try to book more demos than I ever have before. So on that first Sunday, I booked 30 appointments in that one day. I'd never scheduled more than 20 before, and I just filled up my week. My goal was to complete 6 appointments every single day to complete 100 for the entire push. Now, that first week passes and I sold $12,500, and I was feeling pretty good. That was almost my best week ever. I looked back and said, well, when was my best week ever? It was actually during my fast start. My first full week on the job, I sold $13,500, and I'd been around for 5 years, and that was my best week previously up to that time. So I said this second week, my main goal is how can I beat my best week ever? How can I have my best week ever? And I really set that goal and then let go of it and said, I'm just going to commit to the actions that it takes to get there. So that week I ended the week at $14,900, so almost 15 grand. I broke my best week ever. Now I'm going into the last 5 days of push. The way that our push works for SC2 is that the conference is on a Saturday afternoon. So the weekend's on Monday. I'm at $20,000 in sales, and I have Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, half of Saturday to go to hit my goal. And I got to sell $13,000. Now, I was feeling pretty good at that point because I knew I had built a lot of momentum. I had had a couple of $13,000-ish weeks, and I just kind of kept committing to the action. So on that Monday, I sold $1,800. On that Tuesday, I sold $4,000. On that Wednesday, I sold $1,000. On that Thursday, right, I'm leading into a big finish. Only 2 appointments went through. So I had a little bit of adversity. But what I decided to do was reset and say the only thing that I can control today is my actions. So that day, my goal was to book more appointments in any other day than push. More appointments that day than any other day in push that I had up to that point. So I was making calls all day when I wasn't in demos, and I scheduled 9 demos and set them all up for that Friday. So I just really stacked my last full day and Friday with as many appointments as I possibly could. And by the end of that day, I woke up Friday morning and I was at $43,000 in sales. So I was $7,000 away, and I had about 36 hours. I had full day Friday and I had half a day Saturday. So basically what I did is I set up myself all ahead of time. I had this email that I was going to send out that I had already typed up on Friday morning. I had a text through texting base I was going to send out in the afternoon, and a Facebook post that I was going to put up in the morning. I had all this set up ahead of time. So that way when Friday came, I had all these demos. I kind of just put the blinders on, committed to the actions, and gave my best. Fast forward to 10 o'clock that night, I hit my goal, and I'm at earlier I said 43,000. I was $7,000 away. I think you guys understand that I'm at 33,000 and I was $7,000 away by the beginning of that day. I'm assuming that you caught that error. But that night, I am at $44,000 in sales. I've hit my goal by $4,000, but I was so committed to the actions that I knew I still had a few people to call back that had no sales and things like that. So I called and I said, hey, I just want you to know, I told you on the demo that if I was one knife away, I'd call you back to see if you could get me over my goal, but I already hit my goal. I want to be completely honest. But my manager's letting me do a really good special because it's the very end of the push. So I still wanted to let you take advantage of that, and I'm still working really hard all the way through the end. I'm 100% committed. So I wanted to know if you'd be cool with that deal. And they said, yeah, I want to get a few things, and my sister wants to get a galley, and this person wants this, so I'm just going to buy all this stuff. And I was like, well, okay. I mean, I already hit my goal and I literally can't stop orders from coming in. So I go to sleep on that Friday night and I'm at $45,000 in sales. I'm $5,000 past my goal. So Saturday morning when I wake up, and I kind of looked at myself in the mirror and I was like, I guess I got to go after 50 now. I don't really have a choice. It wasn't really my goal at the beginning, but I'm committed all the way through the very, very end. So that morning I kept calling people, and I ended up getting another 26 phone orders on that Saturday, and I hit $50,006 at the buzzer. The other thing that I forgot to mention is that Friday, the day before, I got 51 orders and sold $12,045. That was my biggest day by far. The most exciting thing to me is that somehow I got 51 orders. I kind of just put my blinders on and just went for it. That was the biggest order day for me by far. I don't even know if I'd ever had double digits before. I don't even know if I'd had 10. So I kind of gave you the overview, and I probably need to get a little more crisp at telling this story because I left out a few details. So thank you guys for being a soundboard for me. But here are the 2 biggest things that I learned in this process. Number 1 is that when I'm truly committed to the process, that the result just takes care of itself. I mean, I was continued to stay committed to the process even after I hit my goal, and things just kept coming in. I just built so much Cutco karma and so much momentum that I literally couldn't stop the train. Now, the other thing that I learned is that I always have the opportunity to give my best no matter what. There was a demo on that Thursday, the day where only 2 went through, but I was feeling pretty good. I was like, I feel pretty good. I can hit my goal in these last 2 days. I only have $7,000 left. I have all these emails and stuff to send out. I had this demo with a lady named Wendy Rock, and she starts the demo by saying, hey, I just want to let you know I've done this demo 37 times. and I've only bought a paring knife up to this point. So I'm not going to buy anything today. And so in the back of my mind, I'm thinking, oh my gosh, I'm really about to spend an hour doing a demo with this lady when I already feel confident that I'm going to hit my goal, that, she's already done the demo, blah, 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 blah. All these things started running through my mind. And then I remembered, wait a second, I'm committed to the process, giving my best throughout this entire push, no matter what. So I did that demo. I gave it everything that I could, and I sold a can opener. And that was the best demo that I had the entire push. I was so proud of myself for just giving it my best, leaving everything on the table. And I was like, you know what? That is one can opener that I wouldn't have had otherwise if I had just been committed to the process, let go of those things in the back of my mind that are telling myself to play small or be complacent or whatever it is. And by the way, if you listen to my number that I said earlier, I sold 50,006 CPO to hit my goal. If I hadn't gotten that can opener, I wouldn't have hit $50,000 in sales. I would have hit 40, my original goal, but I wouldn't have hit that next goal of 50. So it was really cool to note it. And also, by the way, when you get to 50% and you sell a can opener, you make $20. So that's also really cool. Like, you're never wasting your time doing a demo when you get to dirty 30 and beyond, because every single demo, even if you sell a trimmer, you're making like $20. So, so super cool concept to understand, reasons why to work for dirty 30. But I just wanted to share that story with you guys. And I wanted to share a brief coaching process that I use with myself and my representatives, and that you can use with yourself and other people that you might want to lead in the future. So, and Cutco taught me this, by the way, so it wasn't like I came up with this, but most people that when they go after goals, they don't hit them because they don't know how much action it takes to put in, or they get burned out, or they're not fully committed. The reason why is because they have a two-step process when they go after their goal. They say, what do I want? Well, let's use weight loss, for example. I want to lose 20 pounds. And then they say, how? How am I going to get there? Well, when their what is, I want to lose weight, their how has really free range to be whatever. And their how could be, well, I'm just not going to eat for 2 weeks. Now, we all know that that's not sustainable. That's not healthy. That's not really the right way to do it. But are they going to lose 20 pounds if they do that? Probably, if they don't die, right? So here's the process that Cutco has taught me, and I'm going to give you words for it so that way you can use it for yourself. It's 4 steps. The first one is what? What do I want? The second step is, why do I want it? This is the goal thermometer. This is the why questions. You've probably heard the saying that if the why is strong enough, the how takes care of itself. This one deserves a star by it. You put a big why, big star next to why, because if your why to lose weight is I want to be healthier for my kids, I want to live longer, I want to be able to play sports, I want to be able to do this, it makes the how filtered through all of those things. So that way you're not just going to say, I'm not going to eat for 2 weeks. And if you have a strong why, you're going to do things the right way. Now, the third step before we get to how is, who do I need to become? Now, who do I need to become is really important because it minimizes shortcuts. And it also, so like, think about minimizing shortcuts. If who you need to become is, you think about that in the process of losing weight, I need to become someone who is willing to control my portions of the food that I eat. Someone who's willing to exercise 5 times a week. Someone who's willing to not eat sweets. Someone who's willing to have the right disciplines. If you think about those things, then you're never going to take a shortcut, but it also makes your growth sustainable. Think about what we always talk about during push. It's not about the sales. It's about the person who you become in the process. That is the who do I need to become. So that way you can maintain it and grow from there rather than just shortcutting your way from losing 20 pounds to I'm not going to eat. So now your how looks very different. Your how looks like, well, I know that I need to be this type of person, and I know that these are my reasons why. So my how is going to align with all of those things. And in every little time where you don't want to execute your how, like for me, it would have been really easy to say, I'm going to give up on this demo. I'm just going to, move on to my next thing because I'm not going to sell anything to Wendy Rock. But my why was so strong that I remembered I committed to the process. I want to give my best. I don't want to leave anything on the table. I'm going to give my best for this demo. So your why makes your how easier to execute. Do all 4 of these make sense? So it's what, why, who, and how. The why is the most important. I had a rep who tried to sell 10K for push 4 times and he didn't hit it any time. And so we sat down in this SC2 push last year and he said, I want to hit 10K. I'll do whatever it takes. I said, okay. So come back to me when you have a list of 100 reasons why you want to hit 10K for push. He came back 3.5 hours later with 3 pages full of reasons why he wanted to hit it. And guess what happened? The how took care of itself because he was so clear on why. Now, Cutco teaches you all of these things and you can apply them to anything that you want. I used the weight loss example. We can talk about finances. We can talk about, just weekly goals. And here's the key that makes all 4 of these steps easier is getting really, really clear on each step. If your goal this week is to sell $1,500 and you just say, hey, manager, I'm going to sell $1,500 this week. And they say, great, okay, let me know how it goes. And you don't hit your goal. Well, you don't know why. If your how is really clear, you'd say, okay, well, I want to sell $1,500. My average is $300 per order. So I divide $1,500 by 300, and that gives me 5 orders. If I need 5 orders, I need to complete 8 or 9 demos. If I need to complete 9 demos, I need to have about 12 scheduled, so that way 9 go through. If I want to schedule 12 appointments, I need to make 84 calls. And if I need to make 84 calls, I'm going to make 20 on Monday at 8 a.m., 20 on Tuesday at 5 p.m., 20 on Wednesday at 12 p.m., do you see how different that is than I'm just going to sell $1,500 this week? It's like I have an exact clear plan of how and all of my actions and how these things are going to get done. That's the concept of clarity within all 4 of these. So I kind of just spit a bunch of stuff out at you guys. I got a couple minutes for questions or things, anything else that would be helpful for me to touch on. But thank you guys for letting me share my story with you.
It's great, McColl. That was really great. And I think people hearing from some of these things from a different person, than their manager, it helps out. And certainly there were some new concepts probably for a lot of folks. So why don't we, open up for questions. Anybody want to type a question in the chat or unmute yourself? I think I have it set up where you could unmute yourself actually. How did you become so amazing, sir? All right.
Well, here's my advice. You just got to make sure you're on the company trip so you can meet people like Mr. Anthony Hayes, and then it just becomes easier.
That's right.
McColl, I was wondering how you formatted your email for Friday.
Yes. Oh, and shout out to Ben. I didn't even see Ben on here. Ben allowed me to field train with him right before my push, so that way I could get some nuggets and some inspiration. If you want to, I'm going to put my email in here. So that way, if you want me to just send it to you, I can't put it in the chat because it's too long. But if anybody wants to email me, then I can just forward it to you. It was the goal for me was authenticity. And so I just made it very unique and authentic to me. And I asked for support in a very non-salesy way, just more of a, I've been going after my goal. So would love some support, but a lot of appreciation in that as well. So Katie, how many demos did you do during the average school week? So when I'm planning for school, and this is a good question, and when I'm teaching people plan for school, I always tell them to make sure that you know your priorities. And I put my 4 priorities on my schedule first when I'm planning around school. Here's what mine are. The first thing that I put in my schedule, this one most people probably don't put on their schedule. First thing, sleep. I put my sleep in my schedule first. That's my first non-negotiable. I'm going to put my sleep in there. I like to sleep from 10:30 to 6 if I need to wake up early. And if I don't need to wake up early, I like if I'm having a later night, like last night I was helping my fiance with her. She started optometry school today. So last night we were up late, just finishing a lot of the loose ends. So if I'm going to go to bed later, around midnight, then I'm going to wake up at either 7:30 or 8 o'clock. But I'm going to always schedule that into my schedule first. Now, the second thing that I'm going to schedule is my class and study time. The rule that I like to use is take the amount of hours that I'm in class, divide that by 2, and have that much studying time on my schedule. So if you're taking 15 hours, put all 15 hours in your schedule, and then put 7.5 hours of study time mixed in throughout, wherever you'd like. Then the next thing that I'm going to put on there, so I did that, study. The third is exercising and working out so we can look swole like Sir Hayes. And then number 4 is phone time and office events. So team meeting, staff meeting, and phone time calls, phone calls. I'm not going to put demos in my schedule before I put phone time because I'm not going to get any demos if I don't have phone time. So those are my 4 priorities. Those are the 4 things that I'm gonna put on my schedule before anything else, and I'll let the rest of the stuff work itself out. Can you talk a bit about your Facebook post right before push ended? That also was just, did you read that, Anthony? That was also just me being like, I'm just going to put all my cards on the table, just be interesting, be bold. I basically challenged everyone on my Facebook to buy an ice cream scoop. Now, is that what happened? No. But I just tried something new, tried unique, and to get people's attention by being authentic and being myself. And, if you want to copy that, you can, but I think that it really worked for me because it was my own idea, something unique. And I got traction from it because I had been posting on social media every single day on my story, just kind of giving reflections of like, this is what I learned. So if you really want to tie people into a goal, it's really great accountability to put on social media. Hey, I want to go after 40K in sales and I'm going to post every single day. That was big accountability for me because I couldn't back out once I said that on social media. So the accountability really helped, and I was able to just be unique and authentic. Yes, you can. Yes, great idea. And you can follow me on any of my social medias. I documented my entire push and I put it on my highlights on my Instagram. So all of the things that I talked about are still on there. How do I prevent burning out? I have an interesting thought around burning out. I think that burning out is when you take yourself a little too seriously and you forget to have fun. I don't think that burning out is working too much, because I didn't get burned out one single time, and I was working 14 hours a day for 3 weeks straight. And before that, I'd been working in management, 12, 13, 14 hours a day for the entire summer with not many days off. I haven't been getting burned out because I'm very clear on why I'm going for what I'm going for. And I don't take myself too seriously, and I just have fun. And if I miss a goal, I say, all right, well, what did I learn? And I don't, punch myself in the face. I'm a failure. So I'm not like judging myself too hard. It's a good question though. Yeah. Love it. I'll have to bounce in 1 minute, but.
Well, McColl, thank you so much for that. That's super helpful. It sounds to me that I think a lot of people, in order to do kind of what you did, obviously there's a lot of technique and strategy and all these things that you have learned over the years. But really, when it comes down to it, a serious decision. If someone makes a serious decision, like I'm the decision to do, Mark Lovis used to talk about, the decision to do is the most powerful thing a human weapon or tool a human has. Just the decision to do, and that's it. You just make that decision, and that's just the way it is. It's not like maybe, so I think you made that decision to do, and you just focused on it and it happened. So it's great. Appreciate it. Well, I look forward to you continuing to refine this amazing story, and at some point it'll be some brilliant message that's used for all of posterity in the Petco world and beyond. So that's good.
Thanks so much for having me. You guys have amazing leaders on this call, and I just really appreciate the time. So you guys have an awesome day.
Hey, see you in Australia.
See you there. Oh yeah.
Right, take care.